Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jets Show. And the 8th day training camp has concluded, and here are the top takeaways from today. So the New York Jets signed quarterback Josh Johnson and wave linebacker Brendan White. The New York Jets finally have a quarterback on the roster who has thrown a pass in the NFL. Now, Johnson doesn't necessarily bring a lot of skill to the table. I mean, he's been in the NFL for 12 seasons, has only started, I believe, 8 times, and has been on, I think, at least half of the teams in the NFL. But what he brings to the table is not skill, but a lot of knowledge. I don't think Saleh ever had any intention of signing a veteran QB because we had Greg Knapp as our QB coach. He has a lot of knowledge of the game, and he could have shared it with our young QBs. But since he tragically passed away, the New York Jets needed a guy to mentor our young quarterbacks, which is why we signed Josh Johnson. I mean, in this presser today, Saleh said Johnson is a pro's pro, so he's obviously very high on Johnson. Johnson has also played in the San Francisco 49ers system before, so he can teach it to our younger QBs. So Johnson is basically only here to be a mentor. And just because he's a veteran doesn't mean he's already won the backup job. James Morgan and Mike White are still very much in the running for it. Now let's talk about player performances. How did they perform in today's practice? Well, the New York Jets mostly ran 7-on-7s in the red zone today, so there were a lot of highlights. There were a lot of touchdowns as well as interceptions. So how did Zachary Wilson do today? Now, unlike the last 2 practices, Wilson was actually very good. I mean, he wasn't bad in the last 2 practices. He was just kind of But now today, Wilson had himself a good practice. He was throwing more touchdowns and interceptions in the red zone. And when the Jets finally left it, he was still very accurate, hitting all of his receivers, not making many mistakes. And the same thing goes with his fellow rookie receiver, Elijah Moore. He was catching so much touchdowns in the red zone. And then whenever they left, he was still catching a lot of passes from Zach Wilson, and I can't wait on August 14th when we finally get to see this connection live in game form. It's going to be very exciting to see that live on national television. Now, wide receiver Denzel Mims also was getting a lot of action in today's practice, mostly because one of his best skills is being a red zone receiver. Like, he's a big body receiver who can go up and get the pass high up in the red zone. I mean, that's one of the main reasons the Jets drafted him. So he caught a bunch of touchdowns in today's practice. He still is mainly working with the twos, but he had a very promising practice today, so hopefully that's a good thing for his future. And the final takeaway from today's practice is that Brandon Echols was working with the first team, which is kind of ironic because my hot take yesterday was that Brandon Echols was going to be our starting slot cornerback. Now, the funny thing is, though, he wasn't starting in the slot. He was starting on the outside. He actually replaced Bryce Hall. Now, nothing's wrong with Bryce Hall. Robert Saleh just wanted to give Brandon Echols a shot. He said in his presser today that he's been really impressed with him so far in training camp and just wanted to see how he did with the first team. He didn't do too good, but it's okay. He got the opportunity, and it's glad to know Saleh is an opportunistic player. Like, if the New York Jets are down by a lot of points or up by a lot of points this season, expect Robert Saleh to bring in the second team. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Now, I quickly want to mention that school is starting for me on Friday, so I'm not going to be able to give you guys, takeaways from the practices right after they happen. I also got football practice. So you might not see a video for me as late until like 6 o'clock at night. So just want to let you guys know so you're not thinking I'm dead or something. Well, as I said, that's all I got for you guys today. If you ended up enjoying, let me know by hitting the subscribe and like button. My initial podcast episode dropped today, so make sure to guys check it out on Spotify or on Google Podcasts. It is a good one and is one you will not want to miss. Comment down below what you thought of today's video, and if for some reason the comments are turned off, hit me up on my social medias at Jude_Jets on Instagram and Twitter. I'm also now on TikTok, so make sure you guys give me a follow. It's the same as my other social media handles, Jude_Jets. Well, I'm your host, Jude, signing off for now. See you later.